Hello and welcome to Glimmer of Genius episode 24. This is a podcast all about Magic the Gathering, bringing you the latest happenings in the MTG community. From news to tournament reports, deck ideas to MTG finance, we are Glimmer of Genius. If you want to learn more about the show, then check us out on Facebook at Glimmer of Genius. Leave a comment or a question and become part of the conversation. My name's Luke and I make YouTube videos. On the line with me is Level 2 Judge Grant. We normally have a third co-host with us, but he can't be with us today as he's busy doing some revision, trying to make his life better or something, I don't know. But Grant, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing well.
Recently your birthday, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, middle of the week. Didn't have the day off. I had yesterday off though.
You had to work?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't have to, but I didn't want to use it up because it's like the middle of the week. That was cool. And then last weekend helped actually run a PPTQ, which was quite fun. We also had it was sealed. We only had 16 people. Then we also had little pods of drafts firing off a couple of hours after it started. So it was similar to like a little kind of mini GP experience, which I thought was quite a nice little touch.
Cool. Any interesting judge calls?
The observation, which I think has already been commented on in terms of when people have asked about it on the event, the only penalty that had to give out was to judges.
What?
Because we had Mark White, who's a level 2, Mav, who's obviously a level 3, we had Nick and Cameron, who are both level 1s.
Right.
So including myself at this event, out of 16 people, well, 17 people, myself, we had five judges. And I had to give 2 warnings to judges and a game loss to a judge that had their deck list a bit wrong by 1 number. So, yeah, that was fun. Cameron, who's the one that got the game loss for his deck list being wrong, he made a joke at the beginning saying, this will show that, judges are really rubbish at playing the game, and he was right, and he got the game loss. that's why you shouldn't joke about it.
Is that the one that this PPTQ? This is the one that Simon won, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So Simon, our co-host, he won a PPTQ. So I've stolen his thunder now. He can't tell us when he's going to rejoin the show and finish his revision. Did you do a cut to top 8 draft?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yep. No, it was nice. It was a good experience of doing the draft timed and stuff, which I don't think Simon had done before. So well done, Vin, for getting a good draft while having the Comprel drafting experience.
I think he has done time draft before.
Okay.
Because he made day 2 of GP London when it was Kaladesh.
Oh, yeah, he would have done that.
Yeah, whereas I didn't. So I was moping around. Myself, this week, I've only really been trying to put together a brawl deck using cards in my binder. I haven't got very far with it. I haven't had a chance to play anything this week, but I'm hoping to take to the interwebs with a blue-black mid-range deck that was shared with me. So it plays things obviously like Scarab God, Chupacabras, just efficient removal and card advantage spells. Really, going to give that a go. See how I get on with that. I'm not too sure what I'm playing standard. The other thing I bought off Simon after hearing, I got really excited listening to a podcast. Advertising another podcast now. Patrick Chapin does a podcast called Top Level Podcast, and it was quite funny actually, because I was listening along and I was laughing along to it because he seemed to be kind of gushing about Leech's Mastery, and I wasn't sure. I couldn't actually tell if he was being serious or if he was joking. Because he just kept going on about it, and then you'd think he'd finish and they'd move on to like another segment, and then he'd say, "Oh, but then you can do this," and then it's like this. So it was like it's like a really cheap card at the moment. So I thought, you know what? I asked Simon how much it was when I just popped into Dice Saloon yesterday. I just sort of said to him, how much is Leech's Mastery? And he was like 50p. So I was like, I'm just gonna buy 4. Probably won't ever need 4, but I'm gonna buy them because it's 50p and I'm here.
Over again. That's what I miss. Just good exposure.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm thinking. I mean, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit, and I think it'll be funny. And then I got chatting in the store, and Stu was talking about black white, like you just play like things like Gideon to not lose, a single mountain with treasure maps to support a red splash.
Yeah.
And then that can give you glorious end if you need it as well. But I mean, like having the Leech's Mastery in play and then casting Approach to the Second Sun seems like it might be quite funny, because you just every time you gain life you draw that many cards. So it's probably a little bit silly, the deck, but I thought for 50p a card, I'm not going to have to invest much into this, so it could be a laugh.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I was kind of already like not playing standard for a good few months beforehand, even though I had that vampire deck that was okay. I think I'm just a bit don't know, a bit bored with standard really. So unless this set has something fun like Glitch's Mastery or something, then I don't think I'm planning on building a stand deck anytime soon. But, like, the only things that grabbed my attention was like the kind of mostly the black stuff, the creature token stuff. So like the one that makes clerics and then you get a demon.
Oh yeah.
Or the Josu making all those knights and then that land that taps for loads of black, and possibly also having Glitch's Mastery for that. But I don't know, like the knights look quite fun as well, but then History of Benelia is like really expensive. I was thinking, I don't know. I think I'd at the moment I'm still working on like cubes and stuff, so I'm in no rush to get back into that.
No, I mean, if you're not having fun with it, then there's just no point.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you hear people refer to themselves or people refer to like tournament grinders. I mean, they use that word for a reason because it kind of transcends fun for them. Obviously, they're enjoying it at a macro level, but are they really enjoying, like, for the 5th consecutive weekend, travelling somewhere, going through the motions just to try and scrape a few points together? It's if you're not enjoying something, then you should not bother with it really. Otherwise, what are you getting out of it? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like I haven't built a Brawl deck yet, but since I got a box to do the PvTQ, I've now got those Minotaur people. But I was thinking of making a slime for a Brawl deck anyway. And as I said, with like cubing and sometimes a bit of command group stuff, I am enjoying casual stuff more at the moment. So I don't know. I think Brawl's quite a good level for me at the moment in terms of I get to use some of the new standard cards, but I don't have to put loads of money into it, kind of thing. So I might Brawl a go and see how it goes. Oh, talking of cubes as well, I mentioned it last time. I said I finished the Star Wars cube off and stuff, and I had to pay for a cube before and all that sort of business.
Yeah.
I can't remember how I came across it. I think it came up on Facebook actually. I think I did share it as well. But someone's made like their own custom set based around it's like cyberpunk kind of stuff.
All right.
It's called Netropolis. I'll link it to you. But it's he's done like a full set of I think it's like 270 cards or something. But it's interesting. It's got some really good flavour to it. It uses a lot of like deviant art kind of artwork and stuff.
Okay.
And it's got like quite a strong artifact theme, obviously, because like cyborgs and things. But basically, it hasn't really got any multicolored stuff going on. It looks like it'd be quite fun to draft. It's got 3 like unique mechanics that he's invented. One that doesn't apparently work as well. I think he would have preferred to have redesigned it. But one's called Supremacy, which basically means like there's a card that I think costs 3 to make 3 1/1 tokens. But if you have more life totals than the opponent, the higher life totals than the opponent, it makes 4 instead, kind of thing.
Okay, that's cool.
It's like a bonus thing. But then the other 2 I thought were really cool. You've got a mechanic called Arm. So for instance, there's like you've got obviously lots of weapons and stuff. It's like cyberpunk. There's one guy, I think he's just one red for like a 0/1. But then when he comes in, you make a equipment that gives it +1/+1 and then equip it onto it. A bit like with germ tokens, but kind of the wrong way around. If that makes sense.
Yep.
And then when he dies, you're left with this equipment that just gives a creature +1/+1. Costs 2 to equip it. And the last mechanic he does is upload, which basically means it's kind of a cross between like drawing a card and like clues in general. So basically, if it's just like upload the top 2 cards of your library, you exile the top 2 cards of your library face up, and then you can pay 2 mana at any point to put them into your hand. So it's like cool. semi drawing, and then there's stuff that goes off of like if you put things in exile and things. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
I like that. That's an interesting one actually. The upload one. I like that.
Yeah, but I've printed it off and I'll eventually be turning it into a cube as well. But it's good. This guy's got some really interesting ideas.
No, that's pretty decent.
But yeah, after that I'll have 3 custom cubes someone's made up, and then I'll also have my 2 conspiracy cubes and hopefully my my unstable cubes. So
that's a lot of cube.
Yeah, it's good. Like I haven't really. I'm still waiting for a time to sort of do maybe the Star Wars one at Iceland at some point. But I like having this sort of project rather than something like building a standard deck where you can't you spend money and maybe not get around to playing it, and then it's all sort of just messed up. With this, once I've built it, I've got it forever. Kind of. So I quite like this little project. Definitely,
and it's got more longevity than standard as well because
exactly.
It's not the sort of thing you do too regularly, and you wouldn't want to. I don't think something like Star Wars Cube because. If you did it every week, you'd be like, okay, you've solved it now.
Yeah.
It's nice to have something like that.
Mono Ewoks, obviously.
Mono.
The Star Wars Cube is like you have to go 2 or 3 colours at least. It's very shard focused. So monocoloured in Star Wars would be very, very bad.
Okay.
Well, you go 5 colour troopers because they're like sugars. It's very.
That's cool. That's. I like that. Kind of makes sense in a way.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things I thought we should have a look at was this event in Atlanta, Star City Games event that's quite big, because their Star City games are pretty much like a GP. The closest thing to a GP, if you don't want to attend a GP. they're pretty big, and they had a team event, but it wasn't unified constructed. So the standard elements, the standard third was basically just like regular standard decks, no odd restrictions in them. And that was 28th of April, so only more or less a week ago now, last week. The top 8 was won by Blue White Control, but then we also had quite a mixture of other decks in the top 8. So you had a second Blue White Control deck, you had 2 mono red aggro decks, 3 red black vehicles or aggro, and then Sultai Constrictor. So what's that? 4 different deck types there, I think, unless I've miscounted. Yeah, 4. I mean, if you separate red black aggro and red black vehicles, you could maybe argue a different. But the red black aggro is similar to something I was running a little while ago. So basically, it runs full Bomat Courier, Scrap Heap Scroungers, Ballista, Inventor's Apprentice, and then the other differences might be numbers of Earthshaker Kenras, P and Lars, Heart of Kieran's, Magma Sprays, Braids, Aethersphere Harvester. But the key similarity is the black splash for Unlicensed Disintegration and Scrap Heap Scrounger, which are really, really good.
On the second deck, there's a mono red gift deck that plays 7th, which looks like I was kind of a bit bored of the kind of aggro decks and control decks. It's not the kind of thing I play. But go on the second day and go mono red gift. Look at this list; it's fantastic.
Okay, so this is the classic.
This is
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you've got like play sets of Bomat Couriers and Walking Ballistas. And then you've got like Combat Celebrants.
Oh yes.
The Goblin Pirate. You've got the triple red Chain Whirler, and it's just literally all just red. You've got a skirt Prospector and stuff. And you've got 4 gates and 2 gifts. And the thing is, I do miss playing Godfarrow's Gift. And this is quite good. This looks quite silly. See, this is what I mean to get back in standing. It's the kind of thing I need, because I don't want to play control. I don't want to play aggro, like mid-range stuff that's really expensive. This looks. I don't think there's anything here that's very expensive, is there?
No, I know Rowdy Crew isn't, so maybe Goblin Chainwalker might be a few quid.
Yeah.
Because that I believe will be, if I flip to the mono red decks, I'm fairly certain it's there. Because mono red aggro's a deck. Yeah, Chainwhirler's in there. So that's going to be giving me a little price tag. Couldn't tell you what. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The rest of the deck, pretty.
Yeah.
If you got the Ballistas, I think the Ballistas are going to be the most expensive part of that.
I've got a place out those.
Yeah. Oh, and Chandras, but it's only 2.
But then, it's just nice having a deck that's, crazy mountains or crazy sort of lands that's got mountains instead, or Scarab Gods or whatever, which I don't have.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting take on Godfarrow's Gift.
Yeah,
really interesting. How easy would it be to splash blue? Actually, hold on, think about that. What we're talking about on the first day. So rewinding back to the day 1 event, I believe there was a blue-red Godfarrow's Gift deck. So 14th place on the main event, we had Samuel Tuil, who.
Oh, this looks a bit cheaper, actually.
Yeah, so.
Maybe this one.
Because I just felt like it seemed a shame to lose, the blue card. So like Minister of Inquiries and Champion of Wits.
Yeah.
Because in Godfarrow's Gift, those 2 cards seem really, really good for what you're trying to do. I quite like this because I remember the blue-white one, I think it was Pascal Maynard, played it at a Pro Tour. The blue-white Gift, where it used a lot of instants and sorceries to basically just kind of turbo out a Godfarrow's Gift. I mean, that deck still exists. Like, there's nothing that stops you from being able to play that deck.
Yeah.
But I quite like that this is just all creature based.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that. Rowdy Crew is only like $1, if that.
Yes, because it's not very good.
Chain Whirler's like 4, so it's not too bad. The Combat Celebrant is an interesting choice. I do like that as an idea.
Combat Celebrant's great because you can do it. Really plays well with Godfarrow's Gift.
Yeah, just like get 2 tokens and 2 combat things.
Yes.
That's $7, so that's one of the most expensive ones.
Yeah.
It went from 2 to 12 shortly after the start of April, and then it's settled down to about 8 or 9 at the moment.
Yeah, it is really nice. I think this is where it's got a home, because I've seen it be used or talked about in Gift Deck before, and it just makes so much sense. For anyone who's not familiar with it, as you sort of mentioned briefly there, you can exert it when it attacks, and if you do, you untap all your creatures and you get an additional combat phase. And God Pharaoh's Gift triggers at the beginning of combat on your turn. You get to return your creature from your graveyard. So that's why he's really, really at home here, because he enables you to do that twice. I suppose one of the only weaknesses with this deck is not having the access to refurbish, which is pretty strong. But then
you don't seem to be milling yourself as much at all.
No, but that's again why I quite like having the blue in it, in this blue-white version, because at least you've got the gate to the afterlife.
Yeah, I think what I like about this one is, and the reason why I stopped playing God Pharaoh's Gift was, if they just have like any kind of graveyard exile is rubbish, because then say if your plan is just turbo out Gift because you're going to get it into your graveyard, then refurbish it, and they just exile it with Permanent Nation or whatever, like your whole plan's gone. Yep. Or with this one, fair enough, if they exile like a lot of your graveyard, that's bad, but because you're kicking out creatures so quickly, I don't think they'll be able to kill you that way, because you'll get the gift with gate, through normal means, and then you'll just have a bunch of creatures in your graveyard, and they won't be able to get rid of all of them. So I think this one seems a bit more robust compared to the other one. Yeah,
I mean, it's got eight 1-drops with Bomat and Minister, so turn one of them.
And lots of people kill themselves at any point, so that's quite useful.
Yeah. Warcry Marauder's interesting.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm going to copy this list now because it looks quite interesting.
Sorry, not 8 1-drops, 12 1-drops with Fanatical Firebrand.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, you can just blow itself up, which is quite cool, as well as obviously scope prospects.
Sorry, I was thinking of something else for some reason. And the Rivulet as well. If you Rivulet, it can mill.
True.
Which is nice. So it's got a little bit there. Not much to say about the sideboard. Silent Gravestone is pretty interesting. I don't know what. Cards in graveyards can't be the target spells or abilities.
So other gift decks, I suppose.
It turns their one off though, doesn't it?
Does it?
Yeah, it can't be the target. Does God Pharaoh's Gift target? Oh no.
Yeah,
sorry.
It does.
You may exile a creature card from your graveyard.
Oh, score a target.
No.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Well, I suppose if it wants to pay 4 mana and tap and exile, and it gets to draw a card and it's exiled stuff. Because actually, like you say, it doesn't really mill that much.
No, it's the other way around, isn't it? It actually stops Grip of Condemnation. How weird is that?
Oh, because Crooks exile a card.
Yeah, that's really bizarre, isn't it? So it actually does the opposite.
Because Relic doesn't target, but the Relic of Progenesis I'm thinking of, but the Crook does it?
Does. Yeah, exactly. So you can exile everything, but you won't be able to single target stuff. So that pushes them to exile everything, and then obviously you've got they haven't got a Crook anymore. That's interesting.
How funny.
Can't see that.
No, well, that is quite funny actually. Okay, cool. So yeah, Sultai Constrictor is the rest of the top 8. Sultai Constrictor, there's nothing really new there. The counters, +1/+1 counters, Rickshaw, Servant, Winding Constrictor, all that good stuff.
These in the mono black control list, 25th place in the first day.
No, mono black control. What's that? What's
that? Mono black control, yeah. See, this is the kind of deck I did want to build just because of Cable Stronghold and Josie. Oh, it's got Cable Stronghold and Torrent of Hailfire. That's fantastic.
I wanted to try something like this when I heard about the Stronghold, because that just seems like a match made in heaven. Like,
yep, I agree.
And the other thing as well is, are they playing the Lotus? No. I suppose they're not going. They're probably being a little bit sensible, but I mean, I was going like I was thinking, well, if you're playing loads of swamps and you've got the Stronghold, you could just go full on and then play that 5 mana Lotus.
Yeah, sure.
For 3, so you can just tap that for 3.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So obviously you've got to invest mana initially, but then once you're there, you're turning your mana into. So you're not having to spend 3 mana effectively. You just go, right, I'll tap my Lotus, and then I can tap that. But I don't know. Maybe it's not good.
It seems because you can have any colour you want. I think it's a bit of a waste of the fact that you can have any colour you want.
Yeah, true. I just liked it because it was make 3.
Yeah.
This seems really strong. Just like all the nasty black removal.
Just like Divest, Doomfall, Duress, Common Demise, Torrent, Push.
Kill everything.
Cast out, yeah.
The thing is, it kind of works quite nicely, the Torrent of Hellfire, because if you're just basically shooting everything in the face, and then they don't have many permanents left, so then you just go blah.
Yeah. I don't think there's not much too expensive in these things. Again, you've got the Walking Ballistas 5, we've got those. But from the new set, it doesn't really use. Because I mean, Cable Strongholds are only like $2. So.
No. What's quite nice is, unless we have a situation like we did in Theros Standard, where the mono strategy does really well consistently, cards like, where is it, Dreadshade, are probably going to be quite restricted in how high they can climb.
Yeah, that's true. Although I feel like if we're going to return to another set again, I think it might be Theros next.
You reckon? That doesn't feel that long ago.
It doesn't feel that long ago, but if you think about all the other options, let me go with this stuff. So obviously we can't go Ravnica because we've already been there again.
Go Lorwyn.
Phyrexia for like Mirrodin we can't do.
Just go Lorwyn. That'd be great.
Lorwyn would be good. Lorwyn was the other viable option. We can't do Zendikar. Obviously can't do Calendar, Six Land, whatever is the standard. Kamigawa was another option. But basically, if you look at the list of sets since the beginning, the only ones it can really go back to is either Kamigawa, Lorwyn, or Theros. Because all the other ones have been to at least twice. So if they've got these triple cards, them having Devotion would be interesting. Maybe not next, but maybe like when these cards are like at the end of standard kind of thing.
So you get that little bit of crossover.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they'll do. But Theros, I reckon definitely within the next 2 years we'll go back to Theros.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, which I look forward to because Theros was the first set I played completely when I got into competitive Magic. Because I did casual, my 8th edition. And I started playing just as Gatecrash came out. So I had like a bit of, Innistrad and all that nonsense and stuff. I could afford like how much for fails. Then it was like Gatecrash and stuff, and then Theros was my first like complete block, and I really like Greek themed stuff anyway. And Devotion was a really cool mechanic, and so was the Enchantment. So I'm looking forward to going back there because that was really fun.
I quite like Theros. I know a lot of people. It was funny. I sort of got back into Magic after a little break, just around Theros, and a lot of people got quite tired with the Devotion stuff quite quickly.
Yeah,
I didn't really mind it so much. Maybe I was just happy to be playing Magic again, so it didn't really bother me.
Yeah, I was a big fan of it. Really, there was some I think the only very sort of accurate complaint was that they kind of messed up the block structure. But then this was like when they were first experimenting with doing different things, because they, generally speaking, the third set in a block has always been disappointing. They did it the opposite way around this time, where Born of the Gods was really disappointing. Journey into Nyx was really fantastic.
Yeah.
That's when they decided, look, we can't really do 3 blocks, 3 sets in a block, and it'd still be good. Like it's going to have to be one way or the other. So then at that point they decided they had to go with 2 and then Shelby. So it wasn't disappointing for that, but I think it was some good experimenting. And overall, I think it was a really good set experience. I think
so. I'm going to play Magic regardless of how they do it, but I don't think on balance. I think if you think of it I don't think you get as much out of a third block over. I mean, if you're really into the block, and it's great and it's fine, but I think having the set come out and then another bit of it seems good, and then anything more, I think people's interest naturally begins to wane. Rightly or wrongly, I just think from their point of view, at least, it seems to make sense, because why would they kind of flog a dead horse, have to limit their set design and stretch things out in an odd way, if they could just go, right, well, we'll just put this here and then we'll make a second one, and then people have got their excitement and then it's kind of on to the next thing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting doing this kind of single block but then optional however many you want kind of structure. That's going to be cool. 3 sets and a core set, 3 sets and a core set, but they don't have to be related.
Okay.
But I think they did say that if they wanted to spend a bit more time on the plane, like say Dominaria has got quite a lot of story, if they wanted to stay there for a bit longer, there's nothing saying that the next one has to be a different place. They'll just do blocks or whatever they want and spend as long or as little on the plane as they want to.
Yeah. So
that's quite a cool idea.
It might feel weird because you might feel like you've got more blocks in a format, but actually you haven't.
Yeah. But it's good because you get a better variety of mechanics and stuff going on, so that's quite cool.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so are there any other decks that stuck out to you on this day one?
Just having a look now.
The only thing I'll say about the blue-white control deck that won it...
It's super boring.
is I know you'd hate it, so much, but surprise, Teferi is in a blue-white control deck. I mean, who would have thought? And Sing It Away feels like a mistake already. I think printing was it the 2-mana one in not Ixalan. What's the second block of Ixalan called? Why was I on blank? Rivals, yes. So printing that Unwitting End, is it 2-mana one?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, the one with the dinosaur. It was confused on it.
Suspicious End.
Yeah, something like that. That's 2 mana. That's basically a 2-mana thing. which gets rid of a creature. I mean, blue-white had that slot, and if it wanted something with flash, it had the 2-mana enchantment, which malfunction, the blue one, the flash one.
Oh, yeah. Ether Meltdown.
Ether Meltdown. So it had that if it wanted a flash answer, but it was none of them were really perfect. You might have to think about what you want to play and how, in that slot. But also you had if I want cheap removal, I could just play black for Fatal Push, so maybe I go Esper. Whereas Seal Away, I think just goes, oh, no, I'll just play Seal Away now. And that's virtually all problems that aren't Heart of Kieran solved. And I just think that might have been a bit too much for this archetype. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, no, blue-white's going to be broken. But I just think if you were going to give him that tool, then it's a bit much. Because now they have that cast out, and all the other good blue-white stuff, counter spells. He's even playing Blink of an Eye, just to return it.
Yeah, this is a good card. It's weird that they didn't just reprint into the Royal, because it's literally the same card.
Yeah.
It's weird they didn't just reuse that. It's fine when they sort of, redo like a bounce or a counter spell if it's got like the set mechanic in it, like, scry or draw a card or make a treasure or whatever, that's fine. But it's literally the same card.
Yeah, that seems strange. Maybe there's no Royals in Dominaria.
Yeah, I just think that, and sometimes you do get flavor fails out and they couldn't be printed, but I don't know, I think they probably could do. Like, there's a lot of sea and storms and stuff. I'm sure they can do fine. Just change the artwork, it's fine.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that when you say, oh, it's boring, playing against this is probably quite painful, because especially when they get to 4 mana, between cast out, counter spells, seal away, and settle the wreckage, you're going to be staring across and thinking, I really don't know, have I got a good play here? Because they could have any of these flash answers, and that is just ugh. So
yeah, I don't like control generally ever. And I'm looking at the Bant approach list that was in the classic that put 8th place, and I kind of just like that a bit better because it's got like the green part of it. So it's got like Hour of Promise, it's got Spring, it's got Carnage Tyrant and Sideboard kind of thing. Yep. And I kind of want to play it just because I like those sort of colours, and I like that you can approach the second sun, and I feel like it's slightly less boring, but I still think it's very boring. So I don't like the fact that I'm drawn to this deck because it's basically the same thing. It's just not hardcore blue-white counterspell control. It's more just like board stall control.
Yeah, I think what's probably appealing to you is the sort of gimmick of, hey, I'm not playing any creatures.
Exactly, like that deck that you flagged up about the Azor's Gateway one, and I love the idea of winning using that and trying to Hellfire. But unfortunately, to make that deck work, you have to be like super control-y. So unfortunately, I can't play that, even though the gimmick is super good.
That's understandable. That's why I wasn't sure about that deck when I first played it, because I honestly, for about 5-6 turns, thought I was playing it some blue-black control, and then weird stuff started happening. But yeah, no, that's fair enough, because it did play pretty much like blue-black control, except when it was doing its thing. And the other one that I'm not sure if you're going to like this one or not. This is the one that I was a bit like, maybe you'll just look at it and go, no, don't like it. But the on the day one event, the team event, 22nd. Blue-white historic.
I did have a look at this. It's like I was drawn to it because a lot of the pre-release and the draft that I've done since Dominaris came out, I did end up going quite a few like blue-white or just generally historic focus. I looked at this. It's interesting, but I don't know. The idea of playing it because you've got to have like the Gear Hulks and the Lyras and Teferi and stuff. It's going to and 4 History of Benelia. It's like if you've got all these cards, then sure, but if not, this looks like a very, very expensive deck.
So let's talk about History of Benalia first. So this is one of the Saga ones, isn't it? So it's 3 mana as the Saga enters the battle, and after your draw step, add a lore counter, sacrifice after 3. So at 1 you get a white creature token with Vigilance, and 2 you get a white creature token with Vigilance. It's a 2/2.
Yeah.
And then it's 3 knights. Right. Okay. So how many knights does it have? Any other knights? None,
apart from the ones it makes using that.
Okay.
But I suppose because you're controlling, I guess it makes sense or something. But
so
with Wrath Capuchin, you can flash in History of Benelia as well. So you can make 2/2s at your opponent's end step or during your opponent's combat, and then you'll get another one at the start of your turn.
Okay.
Because historic spells have flash and sagas are historic, so...
Yeah, that's fine. So this is what I'm trying to piece together in my brain, because I'm thinking, why is it even playing this? So got tricks there. So that's interesting. Instant speed tokens, at least 3 mana for 6 power tokens over some amount of time, depending on how you're flashing it in. Okay.
But given the history of it, it's a $20 card. Even if I did like this deck, I'm certainly not playing this at standard.
Why is that $20? Oh, it's a mythic, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's generally believed to be one of the better sagas.
Fine. One thing I do like is the Wizard's Retort, a counter spell costing almost a counter spell. Because
you can flash in Wrath as well. You can say if you've got 6 mana open, they go, oh, you've got no counter spells or whatever, you can flash in Wrath and then you've got a Wizard and you can counter it. That's quite fun.
Yeah, that seems quite cool.
I don't like that it has Lyra, which powers up angels, but you've only got one other angel. Like, it's very apparent that Lyra and Dawnbringer they're playing just because it's a very good card. Well, thematically, I kind of like playing cards that make use of what they're supposed to be used for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from. I just think it speaks volumes for the power of it, doesn't it? When you're seeing it play for exactly the reasons you've said. When the floor of this is Baneslayer Angel.
Exactly, yeah.
It's almost like it doesn't have any other text.
Cool. Lyra's interesting. I know she was at 20, and then she spiked to 35, and now she's settled down to about 32 at the moment.
Wow.
So, this standard deck would be at least $300. This is crazy.
That's extreme. That is extreme.
Oh, actually, no, more than that would be listed. Yeah, so this looks fun, but I'm certainly not playing it.
The land base is cheap.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's not. It's got 16 basic lands. Like that's something.
Yeah.
So look, you got to start on the positives. If you look at it like that, that's 16. You got 16 cards out of 60 already for free almost.
I like that. I mean, it depends on what the decks look like, and at the moment it looks more like people are just going for what mythics or rares have the most value, like history and Lyra and stuff. Yeah. But I like generally that Dominaria has a lot of creatures. I mean, mostly for Brawl, I suppose, rather than standard. But I like that it has a lot of legendary creatures that are uncommons and therefore will always be cheap. So if you want to do a Wrath Caption deck or a Slimefoot deck or a whatever, legendary wizard deck, the idea, if you pick the uncommon ones, it's always going to be cheap, which is quite nice.
No, yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think when we were talking about the spoilers, we were both in agreement about that. Like, it's just so, like, especially for like the younger or newer players who are like, oh, I want to get in on that, and they can, and it's just like they don't have to spend, Lyra Dawnbringer money on that one legend they want. They can just do that, which is really nice. No, that's really good. I quite like the Trickster as well in this deck. That adds I feel like this deck's going to have an infuriating amount of tempo plays.
Yeah.
I mean, Merfolk Trickster, giving you stuff flash, being cheeky with History of Benalia when you're flashing it in, Seal Away, Blink of an Eye, Commit to Memory.
It's going to be... It's a good deck. It's good, but just not for that money.
No. And with a couple of Settle the Wreckage as well, it's going to have that other infuriating facet of, okay, I'll just attack with everything to really just kind of go around what this guy's doing, and they just go settle, and you have no board, and like, oh god, you can just imagine like board stalls just being horrendously awkward.
Yeah, I think again, if I do want to get back into standard, this set looks a lot slower. Like, there's so much more control than I think there was before, mostly because it's fairy, to be honest. So I think if I do want to play standard, I think I'm going to have to go with something that's very, very different and that can deal with control. Like, I think, to be fair, that red gift deck or the red-blue deck gift deck, I think should be okay because it's quite a different style to the kind of mid-range stuff that's going to be facing and like Sultai MG and things. Yep. But I still think you need something a bit more angle shooty to get a good advantage over control, I feel, but I don't know what that would be.
No, I know what you mean. It's fine. It is tough to find something that both doesn't just roll over and die to mono red, yet also doesn't just sit there and have everything countered or destroyed.
I mean, like the mono black control one, like that's sort of somewhere in the middle because it's got like tag disruption, like divest and duress, which is good against control, but then it's also got like gift Etherborns and dread shades, which are good for blocking early creatures for red. Yes. So mono black control's not fine, they're not bad. And then like the mono red gift one, I don't know. I mean, maybe the blue red one because it's got potential tricks that can deal with counter spells and things. But I don't know.
I agree with you about the mono black. Any deck that's playing Vraska's Contempt at the moment seems like they're going to be in a good spot, being able to deal with things like Hazaret and any creature from a Bomat Courier to Torrential Gearhulk.
Yeah.
That's really nice, because Vraska's Contempt is the card cast out wants to be in many ways. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's better than cast out, but like the fact that there's no drawback once it's gone, it's gone. It's the perfect answer. If you're thinking of colours to play and you want flexibility, then Vraska's Contempt is a good place to start. And
I'm glad that I've got 2, but because this one has 4 and they're $15 each, I'm like,
they've got $15 now.
Yeah, well, 14. Yeah.
Grant, you've got to buy rare removal early.
I know. Oh, the thing is, I opened one. I traded one when it was $5. I'm happy with that, because most decks weren't running 2, and more than 2, I mean. But this one does 4, so yeah.
It won't be that way forever. It's like Dreadball when that was in standard. Like, get it when it's cheap.
Yeah, true.
Fun fact: can't see a single teamer list anywhere.
That's true. Yeah. There's not really much that benefits that sort of colour combo in the set, is there?
No. Also, say what you like about Wizards in the last year and a half, 2 years, banning and clumsy, games design, etc. All the old arguments that we've seen before, but not a single teamer deck, and mono red is still very prevalent. So imagine what it would have been like if they hadn't banned Ramonite Ruins and the Ferocidon.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I wasn't happy with either of those 2 bans because I enjoyed that deck and I thought it was a bit heavy-handed, and people were like, "Oh, it's only 1 or 2 days worth of meta or whatever data and preemptive bans." But actually, mono red's still a deck, and it's still, I mean, what was it, 3 decks in that top 8 on that first day?
Yeah.
Granted, there is a bit of a caveat to that, which is mono red is a safe bet week 1 of standard, so it does remain to be seen how the format will turn out after that. But it's safe to say, at least at this stage, it's a bit of a contender. I mean, in the top 16 in the Classic, you had 5 decks mono red, and if you add in the red black aggro as a sort of red aggressive deck archetype, then that's 8 decks. So that's half of the decks playing like a red aggressive strategy. Now, I don't know if
depends on the red though, doesn't it? Because like the mono red was 6th, 9th, 11th, 15th, and if you look at red black aggro, you got 2nd and 4th. So red black definitely seems to be doing significantly better than just mono red. Yeah,
I think, and this is again the reason why I was drawn to it in the first place, is unlicensed disintegration does a lot of work. And when you're sitting there and you're playing and you're going, oh, they've played a 4 toughness creature and I now lose.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why aren't you playing unlicensed disintegration? Like, you can't, arguably, you're going to struggle against opposing Hazarets, but you play around that. That's like, you can chump block one thing. It's a legend. They can't play 2 of them. But unlicensed disintegration just gives you that reach and ability to not just lose to a Gearhulk on the spot. Arguably, you got Braids for Gearhulks as well, but whatever. Mono red aggro, lightning strikes and shocks. That's about it. You look at lightning strike, you look at unlicensed disintegration. You go, right, for 1 extra mana, you've got an unconditional removal spell that also does a lightning strike.
Yeah, so exactly. Yeah.
It does. It's like 2 lightning strikes, but for one less mana.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Pretty good card.
So but the mono red one's good. I mean, it's pretty obvious. A lot of the card choices, like all the Kenras and stuff, and the Chain Whirler. It's quite cool seeing the Goblin Chain Whirler. I wasn't sure if I'd actually see play, but
that's fun.
I imagine the mono red mirror is hilarious when people are playing their 1-drops or whatever, and then someone plays a Chain Whirler, and then they play their 1-drops, and then someone plays a Chain Whirler. It's just like, okay.
I always was interested by the triple colour of each one. Like I was always interested to see which one would do better out of the 5. And I do still like the Tempest Gin, because I like the idea of doing like just some, I don't know, weird mono blue deck where you've got Tempest Gins and the Genie as well. But I don't know what the rest of the deck would be, but I just like the idea of having just big toughness 4 flying creatures, or high toughness flying creatures, I think.
Well, maybe do look at that, but with mono blue. Godfarer's Gift. Do that with Godfarer's Gift.
Oh, I see, yeah. So the only problem is it makes it slightly... Oh, no, I suppose it makes it better, yeah. Because Tempest Gin would... Yeah, that'd be really good, because it'd be a base 4/4, but then get bigger, wouldn't it? And then Zahid would lose... Well, he would just be a 4/4 flyer, but it's good because you could play the Gate, which gives you an artifact, and you tap Gate to get the Zahid. Yeah, that works.
And the thing is, you've got all the blue cards that are already there that go into the Godfarer's gift deck. So then you just add the 1-drop. The Millie guy, what's he? And then you've got
Minister of
Inquiries.
Inquiries, yeah.
Yeah, that guy,
okay.
Champion of Wits.
I might have to do some brewing later.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure the Heat and Tempest Gin are worth nothing. Because even if the Heat was going to be worth something, he's been printed so many times for this promo, he's going to be worth that.
The other fun thing as well is it gives you access, playing mono blue, River's Rebuke might be quite interesting. So against these decks that are doing silly things like mid-range or just like swarming up the board.
What's River's Rebuke?
One-sided bounce everything they have.
Wow. Oh, yes, I know, the pirate ship one.
Yeah.
That's going to run. There's some fun stuff here, I think.
I think River's Rebuke's great in like Godfarer's Gift Mirrors when the board stalls out and you're just waiting for something to happen.
I also saw Time of Ice and Antiquities War do some interesting stuff with DQ.
Time of Ice, what's that one?
Simon single-handedly won with it in, I think, his final game or second to last game. So it's 4-mana Saga, super tap creature, then you super tap creature, and then the third one is return all tap creatures to their owner's hand.
That's horrible.
And it was great because Simon had I think 2 or 3 creatures. The opponent was just playing creatures like top decking kind of things, like tap it down, bounce, and they just had nothing to block with. And it was just super good value. And I think he got it back with something I can't remember, but yeah, it was just super good. And Antiquities War I was running in when I drafted like blue white like stuff, like historic stuff, and Antiquities War was fun because I was using it to like find my manipulators faster or like find my equipment faster, but then they will turn into 5/5s and turn 3 and then attack with them kind of thing. That was quite fun.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so there are things. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a look. This looks fun.
Yeah, do it. I expect full report by next show.
Because you can even run stuff like Merfolk Trickster, even like just like and stuff. But yeah, it's good.
Have a look at. I like when I look at doing Godfarer's gift decks. The best thing to do is do a gather research with enters the battlefield.
Yes, same as I did that as well. I have some really crazy stuff to add to my one. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that later. After the podcast, let's make some mono blue Godfarer's gift using mostly genies or gins.
That'd be awesome. You could even splash if you wanted to. You probably don't want to, but you could splash black for Scarab God.
Yeah, I would do if I had it. But,
no, fair enough.
I mean, has price changed at all?
I think you should check that out because that's the other thing I was going to say is there is a definite absence of the Scarab God. I mean, I don't know if he's gone completely. I imagine like the Soul Tie decks, Soul Tie mid range.
Okay, so just after, Alan Kett came out and Arrow Temptation came out. He was 15. And he went up to about 30. Then Ixalan came out. He went up to 48.
Oh.
Then went down to about 30 as of Rivals release, and now he's just sitting at about 20, 26, 27 at the moment. So not at a price that I want to buy some, but he's still a lot cheaper than he was before. Yeah,
which is good. That's quite a lot for the Scarab God, especially when like most of the time he's only like a 2-off.
I know, exactly. Yeah, interesting.
But yeah, no, it looks like pretty much only showing up in like the Soul Tie kind of decks on day one.
Yeah.
In the Classic, I don't think he's there in any other kind of thing, which, I mean, it makes sense. If you look at a lot of the decks, they're like green-black, blue-white, mono-red, red-black. They're just not colour combinations that support him, so it makes sense. And if we're not seeing the teamer play everything decks anymore, then he's also not going to be up there as much as he.
No.
I've always found it a bit strange that there aren't more blue-black or Esper gifts deck. Like, why isn't that deck doing better? That just seems like with him, just more of the same stuff.
I used to run Esper Godfarer's Gift. Like I said, the issue was you'd have like targeted graveyard removal, so you would be able to refurbish it. And just generally, it wasn't just as like you had some really cool stuff you could do. Like I used to run like Mona, Butcher of whatever she's called. So you'd have like a hasty creature that could then kill stuff. That was really cool. But you weren't getting like the speed out of it. It was cool that you had all these little tricks, but at the time they could just remove your best stuff and it wasn't as good. But maybe if the format does slow down, then having something like that where you've got kind of like a semi sort of toolbox kind of deck would be interesting because Bona was quite fun in certain situations.
Yeah, no,
I used to run the I can't remember what it's called, 2-mana 1/2 that explores anyway, and that was just quite good because
Yeah.
When she came back as a thing, she could be a 5/5, and if not, you can put stuff in the bin. That was quite good. So yeah, that 3-colour mixture was always quite nice. Seeker Squire, I think it is.
Yes. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, why is that even? What is that doing? But yeah, it is decent. Can't judge a creature by its power and toughness alone.
I'm just doing like a price breakdown of Dominaria, and yeah, certain stuff's gone up super much. Like Khan is now $43, Teferi's like 35, Lyra's, like we said, 32, which I wasn't expecting. Mox Amber still seems to be at 24. What format is it actually being played in?
I don't know.
Because I always knew, like, I mean, I don't keep track of Legacy and Vintage at all, but like, I imagine someone's gone mental over that for some reason.
The hype will stop, and eventually people will realise it's a bad card. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not good. Again, on this podcast I was listening to, like they were saying, it was very kind of like flippant, kind of like, how can we break Mox Amber? And it's like, I'm sitting there thinking, you can't. You've got to build a shit deck around it. Like, oh yeah, I got my Mox Amber on turn 1, and then turn 2 I play a legendary. And
I like that in Dominaria it seems like there's a lot of mythics that are worth money. There's not, sometimes you get like top 2 or 3 and the rest is worth garbage. Like the top 10 cards are all mythics. The top 5 are worth 20 or more. So the bottom of that is History of Benelia. But then the 6th one down is Muldrotha. That one that's like ridiculous for Commander and Brawl.
Oh yeah.
So I like that when you go past History of Benelia. So all the top 5 cards are either colourless, white, or blue. And then all the other expensive ones are all just stuff like Commander and things, or Brawl.
Well, that are expensive, or just the next card? Yeah.
So again, the top 5 are over 20, and then it goes down to 8. But the top of that 8 is Muldrotha, and you've got like stuff like the other Chandra, the other Teferi, Jaya, some other literary stuff that's good for Brawl, yeah.
I'm both surprised and not surprised by that, because they definitely made this set with those formats in mind. So it's not like people have had to kind of scrape around for a new commander or whatever. They've gone, right, here are cards we've kind of pushed with these formats in mind. Like, we support these formats now. We make cards that we can kind of squeeze into these formats. When you've got good ones like the ones you said there, I'm not surprised, because it stands to reason that's going to have a trickle down effect with the vendors, collectors, and sellers of cards, who are then going to pick up on that and then be like, right, I don't need to now put this in my bulk bin for the 2 commander players I might get in. They're like, oh, I regularly hear Simon saying like he's very aware of the different types of players he's got, and he's like, oh, that's a good one for commander, so he knows he can price that accordingly. Like, it's just how it works.
And Rat Colony is the most expensive common at 76 cents. Let's see, they got up to like 5. What is Relentless Rats at the moment? That's got to be still several dollars. Relentless Rats is $2.40.
It doesn't sound like much, and then you realise what you need to do.
It just steadily creeps up like over the last 5 years. Oh no, it's only 6 years it's got on here. It started at like 150, and it's just slowly crept up. It's just because reasons.
Oh.
That's funny.
So that is all for now from us. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, give us some feedback on our Facebook page. Follow the group and keep up to date with whenever we are sending out podcasts. We can also be found on the MTG Cast network. That is mtgcast.com, as well as our own podcast website, which is glimmerofgenius.podbean.com. Also, if you're interested in even more Magic the Gathering content, then please check out my YouTube channel, Vincent Games, which you can find in the description below, or search up Vincent Games on YouTube. Once again, thanks very much for listening, and stay tuned for more.
I'm gonna go make a mono blue Godfrey gift.
Take care, mate.
Bye.
Bye.